Let's talk about how to pass the BT video interview. What's up guys, it's Mike from Job Ready English here with another video to help you pass your next interview. Here at Job Ready English, we help students and professionals expand their horizons and get that job that they've always wanted. In the Pass the Interview series, we go through and break down the interview for individual companies, starting off with 5 fast facts about that company, what you can understand from the application process as a general overview. We then dig into the interview, how long will you have to answer for, how many questions you have. We cover the most common questions that are asked, which came from our research from publicly available sources based upon data from the last 6 months. And finally, we cover a couple of other questions that we've come across which we think are interesting, unique, or worth talking about a little bit more because we don't come across them as often as we normally would do. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit like for the video, and drop us a comment down below. Let us know how we did, how your interview went after watching this video, or what other videos that you would like us to make that will help you navigate the job application process and make it easier for you. So let's jump into 5 fast facts about BT. If you want access to this research note, plus scripts and templates for competency interviews, motivational interviews, as well as access to our free video interview masterclass and our 60-minute interview preparation crash course, then make sure you check out the BT interview prep pack down in the description below. There's also loads of helpful resources down for you, templates and the 28 most common interview questions. A lot of free stuff down there. Make sure you don't leave this video without checking out some of the resources. There's something there for everybody. So let's get started. BT was founded in 1845 and was originally known as the Electric Telegraph Company, and they still had telegraph poles. BT has almost 100,000 employees around the world. BT has created a strategy which has 3 pillars to make sure that his clients get the best service, which is to build the strongest foundations, to create standout customer experiences, and to lead the way to a brighter and more sustainable future. On that note, BT aims to be net zero carbon emissions by 2030. And finally, in 2020, BT won the Best Learning Technology Excellence Award. So let's talk about the interview format and process. This is going to be a virtual video interview. You're going to get 6 questions, and you're going to get 1 minute to prepare and 2 minutes to answer, after which you're going to be asked to attend a virtual online assessment centre. So before we talk about the 7 most common questions asked that we came across in our research, just quickly want to talk to you about, if you've got 2 minutes to answer, how long should your script be? How many words will you say? So this is roughly about 200 words. We tend to work at about 100 words per minute. Ever since I've been coaching clients since 2013, I found that 100 words a minute is the sweet spot. You might speak a little bit slower, you might speak a bit faster. Generally, I tend to find when someone speaks at 125 words per minute or faster, it's too fast. They gasp, they get dry mouth, they get a dry throat, they fall over their words, they forget what they're saying, and this tends to be a little bit too quick. If you're wondering, how fast do I speak, or how can I figure out how many words per minute that I say, then all you need to do is get any book, open up the page, set a timer on your phone for 1 minute, and then start to read out loud at a normal pace. You might want to do this, then you would count the words afterwards. You might want to do this 2 or 3 times to get a rough average. For example, this book is quite wordy, so you might find you say less words, and then somewhere else you find that you say more words, and you'll get a rough idea about how many words per minute you speak. So for example, for me, I would say I'm slightly slower than 100 words per minute. Some people speak very quickly. One thing that I find is really quite advantageous about speaking slower is not just intonation. If you are a non-native English speaker, it's much easier for you to think about what you want to say, translate that into English, and then speak those words out loud. And also it does give you the opportunity not only to speak with thoughtfulness, but also to be understood. I definitely find that when I want to be understood by my audience, I'll tend to speak a little bit slower. It depends on the time of day that I'm making the video, and to be frankly honest, how much caffeine I've had during the day or how little sleep that I've had. But I find the slower I speak, the easier it is to be understood. So let's go through these 7 most common questions. Number 1, why do you want to work for BT? So when we're answering these motivational questions, we really want to think about picking out 5, 6, 7 key facts that we have learned in our research. These could be from their financial report, it could be from the history. The 5 fast facts that you heard just now about BT are a good example of the types of facts that we want to pick out. They're quite specific, they can only be said about BT to a larger or greater extent, and it shows that we've done a little bit of research. And once we reel out these facts and say, well, I want to work for BT because they employ almost 100,000 people and they want to be 0 net carbon emissions by 2030, now you'll notice if I just read those facts out like they were a list, then I would start to feel a little bit bored. And I would sound a little bit boring as well, because it's just like me reading out a shopping list. So where you can, try to inject, why does that mean something to you? So maybe you're really passionate about the environment. So the fact that BT is going to be net 0 carbon emissions by 2030 is something that you feel, wow, that's great. That's something I can really get behind. Or they won this Learning Technology Excellence Award, and I'm really passionate about learning. I'm passionate about technology. I use this app or that application on my phone or on my desktop, and I'm really mad about that type of thing. So when putting that answer together, make sure that it's not just a list of random facts. And to be honest, this shouldn't take you longer than 15 minutes to put your research together. So I've come across a lot of people who said, oh, I was researching for hours, or I read their entire annual report. It's completely unnecessary. Once you've got the facts and you like them, you can put them together in an answer. Question 2, why this role? Why do you want to do this role at BT? So we would split this answer into 2 parts. The first part of this answer comes from the job description, namely your responsibilities and duties. And you want to think about it like this. A lot of people apply for jobs, they don't actually know what they're going to do. They're just clicking, click, 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 apply, yep, sure, whatever. I know that I've had the experience when I've had people apply to work with me, to work at one of my companies, and I've called them and said, oh, hi, it's Mike, I'm calling from such and such a company. And they're like, what was the job for? Which company is it? And they're like, oh, I guess I remember. Well, that's fine. But if I asked you, why do you want to do this job? And you didn't actually know what you would be doing during the job, as an employer, I'd think, yeah, they just want a job. They want any job, and that's not the type of person that I want in my organisation. So when you're thinking about answering this question, find that in the job description. Say you wanted to be a software engineer, but you might find for BT that the duties and responsibilities aren't described in the job description. That's fine. You can go and use a website like prospects.ac.uk, which is fantastic. Or you could just look up the job description for software engineers and go and find another company. They're going to be reasonably similar, right? You might be using different technologies, but it's going to be the same kind of duties and responsibilities. And then you can use that to construct your answer, which moves you on to the second part, which is, why are you the right person for the job? Well, basically, you can use the job description as well, because they're going to have skills that you need. These might be hard skills, technical skills. They might be soft skills, like people skills. Whatever it is, they're going to be something that you can use in your answer and say, look, I'm really great with C++. I'm a great team player. I've got great client-facing skills. And then demonstrate and say, I've got great client-facing skills because I did a consulting project at university. I always like that with skills. You can keep it really short and say, I'm good at this skill because I did this thing. And it just gives us a little bit of an idea rather than just saying, oh, I'm great with kids. You say, what makes you say that? Oh, because I have them. Oh, well then, yeah, you probably are pretty good with kids, I hope. Question 3, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Now, this is often a question that catches people out. And if you've only got 2 minutes to answer this question, you really want to do 1 strength and 1 weakness. Now for the strength, whatever it is, as long as it's an important skill for your employer, as long as it's an important skill to the job that you're going to do at BT, pick whatever it is and demonstrate why that is a good strength for you. What have you done to really say, look, I am really good at this thing that I say that I am good at. Now for the weakness, don't overthink it. I think most people can easily think about their weaknesses. I often say that I can be quite disorganized. So I have a lot going on, I'm always busy, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I need to do this and this and this, and I can leave an email that goes unanswered, or a message on Slack, and thankfully I have a great team. But what I found is, how do I combat my lack of organization? Well, I write stuff down, I diarize things, I delegate tasks, I try to ask for help, I look for advice. Also importantly for me, I try not to fit too much into my day. Because I find that often if I fit too much into my day, then I end up not doing a great job. I do a lot of things, but the quality is not that I would expect of myself or of a member of my team. So with the weakness, as long as it's not very silly, you know, I get angry sometimes, or I hate people, but I think that's just common sense. What I encourage you not to do is to give an answer which I would say is disingenuous or false, like, I struggle to say no, I work too hard, I'm a perfectionist. Now, I too struggle with some of those things, but what you've got to think of is you've got 100 other people who are saying the same thing and who aren't answering and being genuine and honest. Because importantly, when I talked about being disorganized, I didn't say, well, I'm disorganized and hey, you know, I'm just like that. I'm saying I'm disorganized, but I know and I do stuff to make sure that I'm not disorganized, so that it doesn't impact other people or the clients or the people that we serve, including all of you here on YouTube. Question 4, how would you motivate another employee? This is a brilliant question. So people are motivated by incentives because we're all quite selfish. So most people are motivated by money, some people by power, some people by the challenge of solving a problem. Some people are motivated by their family and they just work a 9-to-5 job. Some people are motivated by stability and security. Some people might be motivated by just the feeling of the work and the sense of empowerment that it gives them. So how would you motivate another employee? Well, first of all, I'd get to know them. So I can certainly speak for the members of our team. Some of them are really motivated by being creative and working on exciting projects. Some of them are motivated by that they're going to move house or they're going to have a family and they want to be able to be generating a sufficient revenue that is going to be able to cover those expenses as and when they come up. Some people are motivated by the stability and the security they get from having me as a boss and making sure that they have lots of work, and also I'm a nice guy, I'm not a horrible boss, I think. And that is a motivation for them, but everyone's different. So I'd speak to them, understand them, have a conversation with them, listen to them. And also something that I found is really quite important. And I say all of those things just now and what I'm about to say because it motivates me. I'm no different from anybody else. I might have slightly different motivations depending on the month or on the year, but generally we're all quite similar. I'm also motivated by praise. I'm motivated by someone going, oh mate, that was a good job, or wow, how did you do that? Like, I'm motivated by that because intrinsically I like it. I love all the wonderful comments on YouTube. I don't live for them, I don't try and hunt those things down, but what I do is that I think, well, if I am motivated by those things, then probably if I am motivated by these things, then probably other people are as well. Question 6, how would you handle multiple deadlines? Now this is a really common question, and it's something we've all come across. We've come across it in our studies, we've come across it in our work, and we've come across it generally in life, that we have multiple deadlines. You might have different people that you have to meet, and I've got this work, and I've got this thing that I'm studying, oh my God, how am I going to fit everything in? So how do we handle this? Well, we get organized. We assign things in terms of like urgence and importance. We make sure that we communicate with others, we ask for help, we give ourselves enough time, and to a certain extent we block out distraction. You know, if we're constantly engaged with social media, it's really important to meet multiple deadlines because, oh my God, look at where Stacey is, and oh, Steve's with her, I didn't know that, and before you know it, hours have gone by. So one way that I complete multiple deadlines is I lock into the one thing that I have to do today, or a couple of things. So for example, this afternoon I knew that I had to shoot 5 videos. So you might see 5 videos come out where I'm wearing the same Huel t-shirt, and this is why. because I spend an afternoon where I bulk film all of our content that's going to go out for the next week or two, and that allows me to really block out distraction, have a very clear goal, and meet multiple deadlines that I have with our video editor and with our content schedule that goes out. Question 7, how would you deal with a situation where you weren't given enough informational guidance? This is such a common workplace problem and also question. It's something that I have been guilty of. It's something that I can find difficult to navigate with clients. First of all, I need to clarify. So I think, what don't I know, or what do I need to know? The next thing that I would do is I communicate that clearly with the other person. So someone may turn around to me and say, well, you know, look, I need you to organise this document more effectively for me because I don't know about the task that I have to do. So what I say is, okay, cool, I'm going to go away and I'm going to do that, and this is when it's going to be done, and I'm going to make sure that this gets sent back to you, and so on and so forth, right? And something that's really useful to do is to make sure that we chase up on that information and to be specific about what we need. For example, there's nothing more frustrating than someone going, oh, I don't know how to do this, can you help me? It's like, you don't know how to do what? And importantly, have you sought out the information yourself? So I have a very important rule that I stick to. I tend not to answer questions if someone could just put it into Google. I get lots of emails, and very often when I get those emails and I think, you could just write that in Google. I'm not Google and I have a limited amount of time. So have you tried to solve that problem or find that information yourself first, or gone to your colleagues before, say for example, you go to a client and you're like, look, I've tried to figure this out myself, I've spoken to Dave, we don't seem to know what the situation is, can you help us to clarify these 3 things? Here they are. If you could get this information back to me by this date, it's not going to hold up the project. That's so clear from a client. And of course, there are difficult clients and difficult people, but for most reasonable people, they could be like, oh, okay, cool, right, yep, got it. I see what you've tried to do there. Yeah, no worries, leave that one with me. So now I just want to pick out 3 other questions we came across with BT that we thought were interesting and something to explore with you. What is your biggest achievement? Now, the other day, I was asked this question in a consult, and that person was like, oh, I wanted to talk about something from work, but it's not really my biggest achievement, and I'm not sure what to say. And I just asked them, I said, what is the thing that you are most proud of in your entire life? And they were an international student, and she said, well, I'm really proud of the fact that I moved 5,000 miles to study in a new country. I was like, that's awesome, you should do that. Now, this is a question that you should answer with a full amount of honesty and being genuine and authentic to yourself. Don't modify all of your questions. Now, I realise interviews to a certain extent are of course based around the job and the interviewer and have certain constraints, but there are some questions where I think being honest and being true to yourself can really help you to answer this question, effectively. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Right here, at BT, doing whatever I'd be doing. I'm a manager or I'm a project manager or whatever I'm doing. This is where I'd be in the hierarchy of the business. Never say somewhere else, working in different countries, starting a different business, I've gone home. You'd be surprised how many times people go like, well, I don't know. Companies hire to retain, and if they feel like you're not going to be there and you even tell them that, it's very unlikely that they're going to hire you, because they think, well, why would I invest in you, even if you're a better candidate, when I can invest in someone else and it's more likely that they're going to stay? Because of course they're going to invest tens of thousands of pounds in your personal and professional development. Question 3, tell us about a time you planned something that went successfully. Brilliant question, and a really good question to make you stand out and shine. Pick something that's impressive. It could be an event that you organised. It could just be doing your first job and doing that well. It could be getting a first in your university degree, and then you can just break down the steps that you took to reach that successful goal. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to watch more videos like this. Drop us a comment down below and let us know how you got on with your BT video interview, and I wish you the best of luck. Bye.